Euro rallies as the ECB prepares for the worst. What is the worst? The worst is if the German Constitutional Court, which gave the ECB a 3-month deadline only a few weeks ago, a 3-month deadline to demonstrate proportionality in its QE program. And if it can't do that, then the Bundesbank, which is the German central bank, because remember the ECB is made up of all the individual countries' central banks, the Bundesbank is going to be forced to quit the ECB's, basically its pre-COVID QE program. So the ECB is preparing for that eventuality. And Euro was boosted on that. So why is that? Well, basically this story from Reuters was doing the rounds earlier. And it basically was talking about how, as part of its preparations for the worst, for the Bundesbank being pulled from the PSPP QE program, that's its name by the way, the ECB is preparing to continue that program exactly as it was anyway, without the Bundesbank. And this was actually seen as a plus, a positive for Euro at the time. It doesn't mean that any of the tensions between the German Constitutional Court and the Bundesbank and the ECB have gone. That's all still very much there. But the fact that the ECB is saying, listen, no matter what happens with this German Constitutional Court ruling and the Bundesbank, we are going to keep going with our QE program anyway. We are going to keep doing it anyway. And that has filled investors with a bit of confidence, right? Because this whole German Constitutional Court ruling thing is seen as a big threat to QE. And QE itself, I mean, I explain this in the blog below, so do check it out. But QE itself is seen as crucially important to the survival of the Eurozone, because just think about life without QE. Imagine tomorrow if the ECB just removed their QE program. Well, the debt servicing costs, so the interest rates that the Italians, the Spanish, the Greek, lots of those harder hit Southern European nations, their interest rates would skyrocket like they did back in 2010, between 2010 and 2011. And when this happens, when your interest rates skyrocket like that, you risk defaulting on your debt. And if that happens, those countries would have to leave the euro and the Eurozone would break up, and it would just be the end really for the euro. So basically the ECB is saying, we're not going to let that happen. We are not going to let that happen. No matter what the Bundesbank does, if the German court pulls them out of our QE program, we're going to keep going anyway. So in a way, that pretty much reduces some of the downside risk to euro that the next stage of this German court saga presents, okay? Because imagine if the worst does happen, well, at least we now know the ECB is going to continue its QE program anyway. So that is why we think anyway, euro moved higher on this news earlier. That is pretty much it from me for now, and I will see you in the next one.